Hey friends, tonight's journey takes a darker turn. Back to a time of plagues, punishment, and porridge that tastes like regret. Forget the polished fairy tales of knights in shining armor and dreamy castles. The truth about life in the Middle Ages. Brutal, bleak, and very, very itchy. Let's be honest. You probably wouldn't make it past breakfast. Before we dive into the mud and misery, hit that like button if you enjoy these offbeat trips through time. Subscribe if you're there. And tell me in the comments where you rewatching from and what hour of the night you've chosen to join this twisted history lesson. I always love seeing who's tuning in from around the world. Alright, now dim the lights. Turn on something with a low hum, a white noise machine, maybe the sound of a distant storm, and settle in, because tonight, we're time traveling to the year 1325. You've just opened your eyes in medieval Europe. Great news! You survived the night. Bad news. So did everything else. The lice, the fleas, and the rats. Your bed is a flattened pile of old straw, crawling with bugs, and soaked with a musky barn smell. Mostly because it was a barn floor not long ago. No cozy memory foam. No fresh linens. Just a single wool blanket, caked with the grime of a dozen winters, now heavy enough to qualify as livestock. The day begins with a local church bell, a booming, bone-shaking clang that acts as your alarm clock, and it has no snooze button. You're living in a single-room wooden hut with your entire family, the goat, and a suspicious number of spiders. No windows, no insulation, and no privacy. Just a dirt floor and an open-plan layout, where the humans and animals breathe the same thick, sour air. The smell, it's a rich medley of damp earth, sweat, rotting, food, and something unnatural. You hope it's mildew, but deep down, you know better. No scented candles, no air, just raw life. You stretch and immediately regret it. The cold bites your joints, and your back crackles like an old oak branch. You're 22, which, by medieval standards, means you're already approaching your golden years. Your knees make the sound of grinding gravel when you move. You step out of bed. Your feet meet either a cold puddle, rainwater that dripped through the leaky roof, or something unidentifiable left behind by a neighbor's wandering chicken. Either way, your toes are now a part of the floor's biodiversity. And privacy, a foreign concept. You've woken up beside your parents, siblings, and maybe a weird uncle who just never moved out. Everyone stirs together, and personal space is about as mythical as dragons. Welcome to morning in the Middle Ages, a time when you're never really alone, because the lice, rodents, and relatives are always right there with you. And guess what? This is just the beginning. Now that you're up, nature starts demanding attention, loudly. Urgently. There's no bathroom, no toilet, not even a hole with dignity, no toilet paper, no soap, no modern comforts of any kind, and absolutely no mercy. In the 14th century, answering nature's call wasn't a private act. It was more like a group activity meets obstacle course. Going to the bathroom was less of a relief and more of a grim daily ritual, often performed with an audience and a strong stomach. If you were a commoner, your toilet was probably a half-rotten wooden bucket behind your home. But don't get too excited. That bucket's already seen too much. Your uncle had a questionable dinner of spoiled root vegetables last night, and the aftermath is still lingering. The stench, legendary. Think plague with notes of old cabbage. You take a deep breath, finish your business, and then, here's the medieval twist. You dump the contents into the street. Yes, right into the same narrow path your neighbor walks on to buy bread. Technically, you're supposed to shout something like "God is low" before tossing. But let's be honest, no one ever moves fast enough. City streets weren't exactly charming cobblestone walkways. They were more like slow-moving rivers of filth, animal droppings, spoiled food, questionable puddles, and a steady stream of human waste. If you lived in a city with public latrines, congratulations, sort of. You got a squat elbow to elbow were strangers in a communal outhouse, where the smell could knock out a goat and the breeze was non-existent. Small talk was optional. Breathing through your mouth was mandatory. Toilet paper, not a thing. Most folks made do with straw, moss, dirty rags, or leaves. If you were feeling particularly fancy, maybe a scrap of cloth. If not, well, good luck. Unsurprisingly, medieval people weren't big on handshakes. Now, if you were high class, surely things were more dignified. Not exactly. Castles had garter ropes, basically a chute in the wall that let your royal waist fall directly into the moat. It sounded clever, until you realized enemies could climb into the castle through it. Yes, that happened. The medieval version of a backdoor break-in. Whether peasant or noble, medieval bathroom time was the same. Dirty, cold, and just dangerous enough to keep things interesting. One misstep, and you're re-slipping. Face first into last week. Stew. Only it wasn't tea stew. But hey, you made it through the most disgusting part of your day. Surely now comes some sort of reward. Maybe a warm meal. Nope. Welcome to breakfast in medieval Europe. There's no coffee, no bacon, no eggs, definitely no pancakes. Instead, you huddle near the fire and are handed a bowl of something. That something is called pottage. And it is basically yesterday's stew mixed with whatever someone found in the garden. Onions, barley, maybe a lucky bean. It's been bubbling in the same pot for days, maybe weeks, and new ingredients just get layered on top like compost. Is it food? Technically. Is it good? Absolutely not. Beside your bowl is a chunk of bread that doubles as a self-defense weapon. It is made from rough flour, usually rye or barley. But to make it last longer, people added fillers like ground-up acorns, tree bark, or even sawdust. It's less bread and more medieval survival gear. And to drink, forget juice or tea. You re-sipping weak ale, a low-alcohol beer. Because the local water is so filthy it might attack you. Even children drink beer at breakfast. No one loves it, but at least it won't send you to the grave quite as quickly as the water. Thinking of cheese, meat, maybe an egg. Keep dreaming. Those were saved for holy days, and the rare moment when your feudal lord felt generous. Most peasants ate meat maybe once a month. Spices, don't even think about them. A pinch of black pepper costs more than you earn in weeks. And salt is precious enough to be locked in chests. So instead, you munch your dry, gritty bread and try not to notice the rat nibble marks in your porridge. Breakfast doesn't nourish your body. It's more like a punishment you endure. Now that you're full of despair and soggy grain, it's time to get dressed. Not that it will improve things much. Your closet, if you can call it that, holds exactly one outfit. A single, rough tunic made of scratchy wool or coarse linen. You wear it every day, for months, maybe years, and there's no concept of fashion seasons. Just wear this until it falls apart or gives you an infection. Underwear, optional. Maybe you have a second, thinner tunic underneath? Maybe not. Either way, the layers trap heat and sweat and anything else unlucky enough to crawl in during the night. There's no laundry room, no detergent, no running water. Your clothes are stained, stiff, and smell like they've been fomenting in a damp cellar. If you do decide to wash them, you'll need to haul icy water from a stream, boil it over a fire. Scrub everything with ashes or lie and hope the weather is decent enough to dry them in the sun. Assuming the sun even shows up that week. As for shoes, oh boy, let's save that horror for the next part.